Welcome again to At CCLI. I'm Paul Herman, and today I get to talk to Word recording artist and songwriter Sarah Reeves. Sarah, it's good to see you again.
Good to see you.
I think you were with us about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Tell us what you've been doing since then.
Well, it's been a busy couple years. I have worked on my project, finished my project. I've been releasing a single at a time this whole year of 2018. And then in October, I finally released everything. So I have a full album out now,
Yes.
which I'm really excited about. And I've been on tour since October. And so yeah, I've been gone a lot, traveling and singing the new songs, and it's been a lot of fun.
Great. Tell us, if you would, about the title track to your album, Easy Never Needed You. Great title.
Yeah, thank you. So Easy Never Needed You is, it's basically the theme of my journey in life and in music so far, is that it hasn't always been easy, but I find that the hardest moments in my life are actually the moments that have shaped who I am today. And I find myself being drawn to things that are bigger than me, that challenge me in a way, because it's actually there that I have this strong need for God to come and take over and fill that void and fill my weakness with His strength. And what He does through me is way better than what I can do on my own. Yeah. And so we wrote that song. It was the hardest song on the record to write, ironically, because it's called Easy. It took us weeks, but I wanted it was such an important theme and message that I wanted to get across, because it's not easy asking for life not to be easy, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
But it's good. I love the song, and that's what this whole project is kind of about.
A number of the songs seem to be worship oriented. So if you could tell us about the one, Just Want You.
Just Want You, yes. So that one I actually wrote about a year ago. It was kind of during a confusing time. I was just questioning some different things and asking God what He wanted me to do, where He wanted me to go, just needing direction. And at the time, there was just a lot of noise and voices and opinions in my life, and some changes happening. And I remember coming home from a meeting one day, just really frustrated. And I sat down at my kitchen table and I just prayed, just simply, as simple as it sounds, I just want You, God. And I want Your heart, Your face. And if You're not in it, I don't want it. Even if it's good, if it's not God, I don't want it. And so my husband, he laughs at me. He always tells me to write a song when I'm like upset or emotional, because that's just how I express myself. And I always write like my best songs when I'm upset or angry or something. And so I decided to just move over to my piano, and the chorus just like came out of nowhere. Like it just came flooding out of my heart. And then I ended up finishing it with some people at my church, and it was just one of those songs that came in about 20 minutes and just like downloaded from heaven. But also it was just our heart's cry, and so it's just what came out. And we started doing it at our church, and it's just kind of been an anthem for the past year. So
it's another one with kind of a similar theme called Right Where You Want Me. Tell us about that one.
Right Where You Want Me, I wrote this back in January with some co-writers and producers of mine. We were kind of still writing for my album, had a few songs done, but definitely not all of them. And we decided to get away and go to Florida. We got a beach house.
Nice.
There was about 8 of us, and it was the first day there. And we sat down to write songs, and there was just all of this resistance and this wave of fear and this wave of pressure and doubt that came over me. And I just freaked out. And I remember I couldn't write, and I just had to go away and just pray and get with the Lord. And I came back in, and my producer was playing this track, and I just, again, just like Just Want You, it just came out. And I just said, if I'm a target for the enemy, then it means I'm where I'm supposed to be. There's a war that's raging over me, but I know the one who holds the victory. And it just became a song. And we were dancing and having a good time, and from then on it was great. And I wrote half of my record in Florida at that beach house. But there were multiple times over this year that would happen. And so that song has just been a constant reminder for me, and something that I've had to declare over myself, that no, like God actually, he has me right where he wants me.
It's another song of yours. It's just a pure worship song, it seems like, Fall Afresh. I'd love to hear the story behind that one.
Yeah. Fall Afresh we wrote a few years back. We go to a church in Nashville called The Belonging, and we had just like songwriters and worship leaders. We had our very first writers retreat. We wrote for our record that is out now as a church. And our pastor just kind of paired us with different people. And one of the first sessions was me, Carrie Job Carnes, and our pastor, Henry Seeley. And we got in a room together and wrote this song. And it's kind of, it was just like our prayer in the moment, and our prayer for our church as well. It's just like God's presence changes everything. And we just wanted a fresh wind and fresh fire of his spirit. And so we wrote it, and that was one of the first originals that we started doing at our church. And still to this day we sing it, and it's on the record. And yeah, I love it. It's a special song to me.
Well, here today we just heard a simple song of yours called I Love You, but I understand there's also a powerful story behind that one. Share that one with us if you can.
Yes. I Love You is a song that has a feature on it, Kirk Franklin, the one and only, which is crazy for me, because I was like the biggest Kirk Franklin fan when I was a kid, and I made up dances to his songs and knew every word. And so a little backstory, a few years ago, he was working on his record, and his people contacted us and said, hey, Kirk Franklin would love to feature you on his project. Out of nowhere. I had never met him or any of his crew. And I thought it was I was like, this has to be a joke. Kirk Franklin, and it wasn't. And I ended up going to Dallas and recorded on his project with two other gospel legends, Tamala Mann and Tasha Cobbs. We were all in the same room together. And I was just this little white girl, and like doing my thing, and they were just like these powerhouse vocals. But it was really special. And so we did kind of a feature for feature swap. And so I knew that for this record, he was somehow going to be incorporated onto my project, but I didn't really know how. And we had written this song with Robert Marvin and Jason Ingram. And Jason, you might be familiar with him, but he's a worship songwriter. He's amazing. And we sat there, and he was like, you know what? I just want to write a song that doesn't really have a correct structure. It doesn't have the typical verse, chorus, verse, bridge, back to the chorus. And so we just kind of exercised restraint, and we just were like, you know what? I feel like God just loves when his children tell him how much we love him. And so many times we try to beat around the bush and try to make that like a cool statement and say something other than that. But we just decided to just say it. And it turned into this short little song, and then there was a space, and I just knew, like my producer and I knew, like that's where Kirk comes in. And he ended up coming to Nashville, and he came in the studio, and we said, we just want you to pray and just tell God how much you love him. He's like, that's it? That's all you want me to do? We're like, yeah, that's it. And he's like, all right, put me on. And he literally prayed that in one take. Didn't know the song coming in, didn't have any plans, and we didn't edit anything. And so that is the original, what he did. And it is like, I mean, we were crying in the studio. Like, it was a powerful, one of my favorite moments of recording. And so it's really, really a special song to me.
What are your thoughts when you hear a congregation singing a song that you've written?
Oh man, it's cool. We did a conference in New Zealand with my church, The Belonging.
Yeah.
And they were singing Fall Afresh at the top of their lungs. Like they had their worship band there and we kind of rotated. And like there was probably 5,000 or 6,000 people there just like singing it at the top of their lungs. And I was like, what? And I was in the audience, like I was in the crowd. I didn't even know they were doing it. And I just remember looking around being like, wow, like this is really special, you know, that God would give me a song or give songwriters a song, and then all of a sudden it just like infiltrates the church, not only in America, but in all the way across the world.
Yeah.
And it's just, I can't explain it. Even when we do songs at our church that I've been a part of, I'm just like, man, God, thank you for this gift that you've given us, you know, that we get to write songs that glorify you, and then they become someone else's song. And it moves them, and they're, you know, moved to tears, and their lives are being transformed because of music.
Yes.
And it's just such a cool thing. I love doing what I do. It's the best.
Sarah, this has been wonderful. Thank you for coming again, and thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for watching. Take care.